Okay, I think I've got this set up. Alright, let's see. Just making sure that I've got everything set up since it's been over a year since I was last on here. I'm putting it out on, or letting people know I am live. Okay, there's that. Hello to the one viewer. I don't know how my audio sounds. Is it really quiet? I feel like it is. I have my stream on my tablet in front of me as a way of showing it, and I have to have it at almost full volume for decent sound. Um, let's see. I guess I can. I'll fix my volume if it's an issue whenever somebody tells me if it is. Alright. So my plan for this is to do an Ironman mode achievement and try and do the Macau My Day, I believe it is called, which is where, as Portugal, you make a collaboration government over in Macau and make Portugal China, and the goal is to basically own every core of China and give it to your puppet. Meaning, as Portugal, I'll have to somehow own all of this. So that will be fun. I guess I'll do historical. I don't need that. Alright, let's get started. Hey Trask. This is so weird to me. As far as I know, I'm terrible at streaming. I feel really nervous. My mic is quiet. Okay, so my mic is quiet. Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can fix that somehow. Did that do anything? Hello. Is this quieter or louder or about the same? I think that's louder. Here. Now that case, what if I do that? Hello. Is this better or worse? I feel like... Did that get quieter? Hello. Hmm. How can I fix this? I don't understand. Oh, it's good? Okay. Awesome. Alright. Save and play. If you have any questions as to how or what I'm doing or whatever, just like as I play, you can ask. I will do my best to. Well, I will most likely most of the time be reading the chat, so feel free to continue to chat away. Nuke Bosnia? I wish. I'm not. If I get nukes, I will. I think. I don't know or how long I actually have. I might have to do this as like a part 1 and do like a part 2 later. Possibly tomorrow if I feel up to it. The reason why I haven't streamed since I think it was November 15th, 2022 is just I would get the feeling of I want to stream, but I got nervous and then I just didn't so many times. Alright, here, I will explain the achievement again in greater detail once it loads so I can show you all the map. But basically, I have to place Portugal, and the requirement to get the achievement, which is Macau my day, is that I have to, so Portugal owns Macau, which is a small area, kind of like Hong Kong. It's right next to Hong Kong, and you can once you create a provisional government there, which basically just means like a puppet, right? That puppet is technically one of the Chinas because there's a bunch of warlords there in this time period. So the goal of the achievement is to make your China the only China. Is the goal. Another thing is that if there is any issue with the game audio, I can also do things with that. Okay, so basically Macau is this thing. It is a single province. And you have to get this thing to become a puppet on its own. And then turn it into all of these ones. And Korea, I think. But I know that you have to do this, so you have to go to war with Japan at some point anyway. So, as Portugal, you have to both beat the Chinese faction and the Japanese. But most likely what's going to happen is, because it's on historical, Japan's not going to do something stupid like go to war with the Soviets. They're going to go straight for China, so I'm going to have to deal with the fact that if I join in the war against China, even if we win, Japan's going to probably have a higher war score than me, and then I'll have to fight Japan as well, which in its own is a pain in the ass. But it's fine. Everything will be fine. There could be nothing will go wrong. It's also assuming that I don't just kind of mess up my own playthrough by dying somehow. Let's see here. Starting out with research bonus and basic machine tools. Free dockyards. Ugh, 2 military factories. God damn. Alright, I'm just gonna do convoys. No resources either other than tungsten. Okay. Well, I have the DLC. I think it's Low Resistance that puts the focus tree on top of Portugal. So, gotta figure out how I want to do this. Um, I guess should I fix the military first? Hmm. So this one goes down. This one allows you to basically take over Brazil, or you help the monarchists, so the Carlists in the Spanish Civil War, or as I said, you can unite with Brazil and become the Kingdom of Portugal and Brazil, which can be interesting, but I don't know if any of these are actually helpful in getting the achievement. um, hmm, let's see here. This. Okay, so if we go fascist, we get good relations with nationalist Spain, I guess. Like, that's gonna be helpful. Um, recruitable population, that's good. Uh, that looks like it just hurts, so. Hmm. I guess this one goes to a war goal with Japan, then a communist threat. But that's for the Soviets, but you would get that anyway by doing things like Latin America. Hmm. What to do? What if National Spain loses the. Oh, yeah, I know. Um, that would suck, is basically all I can say. So I would have to just ignore Europe, which is going to be annoying most likely, but it'll be fine. Um, here, as you're interacting, Trask, how about you decide what I do? Should I go, what is this? Is this a communist? What is this? Okay, so it looks like there's two different communist paths. There's the, um, do it, or join the Soviets, or do a thing here to basically go communist and then be my own thing, or try and do things like unite with Spain, I guess. That's what this looks like. I wonder if I'd still get the achievement if I'm not considered Portugal. I would assume I would. Um, 'cause that gives me Guangxi Clique war goal. That might be good, actually. Then there's neutral, which probably not the best idea. But I guess if you want me to do that, that is an option. There's fascist, which kind of went over. And then there's royalist, where I can either attempt to fight with the monarchist in the Spanish Civil War, which almost always lose, or I could go unite with Brazil. It's all up to you, Trask. All up to you. The pressure is on. I will wait for your response. If I become friends with the Soviets, they are close to China, could help with my war. Yeah, that is true. Here, let's go look at the map. The thing is, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. But you would also have the issue with later that Germany declaring war on the Soviets, and I would have to probably deal with that. Even if I don't join that war, the Soviets would have troops over in the Chinese region, instead of on the German border. And the Soviet AI sucks at the beginning of the war. So if they have even less troops than they're supposed to, I don't know how well that would go. That would be my fear of doing that. Pros and cons. I get what you mean. I do agree with that. But there is that risk of having like a super powerful Germany later. So I don't know. Because the only thing Soviets would really do is probably just kind of line the borders. That's about it. I don't know how well they could actually push, because this is Siberia into desert, into mountains, and it's kind of attacking through here sucks. I've done it so many times. Maybe nationalist route would be better, but I would have to bank on national Spain winning. Yeah, I guess so. Here, let's look at the uh, nationalist route. So, support the Spanish nationalists, Portuguese League, that's a good one. Um, so I could do national syndicalism or strengthen the regime. Let's see. What's the difference here? So, this would remove a bonus, but it would give me... It would get me closer to joining the Axis, which may or may not be a good thing. Similar ideas to the Comintern stuff. There's the Fifth Empire option here, which might not be terrible actually, but I believe that says that it gives me negative 100 opinion with 82 other nations, which I think is everyone, and I also can't trade with anyone, I believe, if I'm reading that right. However, it would give me an annex war goal against everything that I need for the achievement. And the Japanese. That might not be terrible, actually. And I could go down and do things like recover the East Indies later, because I'm not going to do that first. Ooh, okay. Fifth Empire might be a good way to go, but I would have to do a lot of building before actually doing this one. Because, that's the one downside that I'm seeing, at least. I don't know if joining faction is a great idea if you're focusing on China, because then Portugal is left vulnerable once the war starts. Yeah, that is true. I mean, like, I would probably be able to at least leave port guards in here, because there's only, was that 1, 2, 3 ports? If it really comes down to it, I could do something that I don't think I've ever seen anybody do in this game, and I could sit here and I could delete my forts. Or not forts, my ports, the other one, and just leave Lisbon as a port, and then just stack coast guards on Lisbon, but then have them set up to like go take off the coastline here if somebody lands only. I could do that, but I believe that would limit my supply in other places a lot, like big time. I guess I could also just sit here and upgrade the one naval port. Okay, so well, we've just, I think we're gonna go nationalist, and then as we go down that tree, we will decide which of these to go down whenever we get there. Because I also want to make sure that I get army reorganization before things happen, because that gets rid of a negative 25% recruitable population factor that I would really like to have. And then having these two with the extra research slot, having 2 research slots right now sucks. It is a terrible thing. see. Um, okay, these aren't terrible. That's quite a few factories. Public works. That's infrastructure and 2 naval bases, which is not terrible. Because I would need convoys. That's really big. That's also good. Because dockyards. All right. I think what I'm gonna do is go down to support the Spanish nationalists first. If we're going nationalist. Oh, wow, that's a long message. Give me just a second. I have to open up a different screen so I can read that without clicking off the game. Thing. And alright, I gotta click off the game. Wow, that's long. Oh. Uh, wait, what is that? Honorary Earthland? Uh, oh. That's a bot. Okay. How do I get rid of you? That is definitely a bot. And I want them to go away. How do I delete the message? I don't know if I can. Well, I guess that's there now. I don't know if anybody else can see that actually. Alright, anyway. Let's see here. I guess, yeah, I'll just go ahead and do a Estado Novo. Yeah, right. I'm just gonna do that. I'm not gonna deal with setting up the military fully just yet. I will get to it. Alright, what's missing? Total artillery, tactical bomber. What do these look like? I have yet to look. Ooh, okay. That, ooh. Wow. And that sucks. Okay.
What's up?
Well, I have 10 of these? Okay. I guess if I ever intervene in the Spanish Civil War, they're good enough. Alright. I guess I would go ahead and unpause. Yeah, alright, I'll trade for steel. Let's trade with France. Do I need... Yeah, let's just do Sweden. It's fine. Okay. So, that's almost 6 a day. 4 a week. That sucks, but it is what it is. I'm not using an entire civilian factory on 1 aluminum. And now it is the waiting game. Oh, there, okay, so waiting for that button. This one's a big one. So is this one, actually, because if I can get the collaboration in the Raj, what that means is that if I ever go to war with the Allies, if I get troops over here into my Raj, the only Raj, then I would basically be able to take over the entirety of India, assuming that they don't have troops. And my puppet would get all of the manpower without agrarian society, which is minus 70% recruitable population factor, along with their current minus 20%. On top of that, wow, it's 90% of their recruitable population that they can't use. much do they have? Even with that, they have an estimated up to 286,000 people, even though they can't access 90% of their people, or their free manpower, which is a percentage of their people, for those who do not know the game. Okay, so for the gun, it's going to take about a year. I'm just going to go to 5 speed because I can. Ooh, yeah, I'd rather have reinforcements than upgrades. Okay, so for the moment, it is entirely a waiting game. So once this finishes, I'll get 100 political power. With that, let's look at political advisors. Ooh, National Integralist. Weekly stability of 0.1%. That is amazing, actually. Definitely gonna want that. And it gives the 15% political power gain that I was looking for anyway. Oh, there goes Asa. Or not. Oh, nope, there you go. Well, they're gone. Okay. Back to sitting and waiting. This is an average Portugal game. Let's go. Ooh. I will gladly have any off-topic conversations as well. But if anybody has game-related questions, even if it's like, how does something work, I will also do my best to answer. And for those that do not know me about this, or at least about the game, um, I my qualifications for telling people how pieces of it work is that I have a little over 1,250 hours in Hearts-Fire 4. So I will, and I love teaching people about the game. There's a Stato Novo. I'm gonna pause it just so I can actually read things. Okay, so we can't do that because Spanish Civil War hasn't begun. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't actually read that part. In that case, I'm going to start off with. Let's do. What's that do? That tanks, or that brings my base stability down. So you have no idea how to fight with Navy or Air. Oh, okay, yeah, no, here, I'll explain that in a second. I'm gonna do the continue the public works because of the infrastructure bonuses, which gives me an extra, I believe, hang on, let me just make sure that I'm right before I say something, that every time you build a new piece of infrastructure, it goes up by 20%, and the infrastructure percentage gives you a bonus in the speed of your building in that state. Anyway, so by doing so, in the long run, I'll be able to build more things because of that. Anyway, okay, so Navy or Air. All right, so in terms of how, just like here, I'll pause while I do this. So in terms of the Air Force, right? You have your planes and all that stuff. You have all the different. Oh, Turkey remilitarized. Yeah, that's normal. So you have all your different types of planes for the air, right? You have your fighters, your CAS, which is close air support. You have your tactical bombers, and you have your strategic bombers. Now, after Bipod alone, which is the latest DLC that came out. It reworked a lot of how the planes work. So let's actually take a look at my planes. So what you'll do in order to actually... Oh wait, hang on. I need to grab... Can I not grab him yet? No, I have to actually wait for the Spanish Civil War. That sucks. Alright, hold on then. Guess I could do this. That's not terrible, because I'm building civilians right now. But that one might be better, depends. Ooh. Actually, yeah, it might not be bad. What's in here? And I'll get right back to the Air Force in just a second. You know what? I'm going to do the Technocrat. Alright, anyway. So, what I'll do is I'll go to my production and go to the build aircrafts. Oh, okay. Well, that's helpful. A transport plane. I can't even build the planes that I start with. Alright, well, let's take a look at the close air plane. No, this is with? The hell? Alright, whatever. So, you have your combat stats. This is for all planes. So, like, you have your base stats, combat stats. The miscellaneous stats, I don't... You can look at this if you want to. This is for... This mostly focuses on Navy for these these four here. Night penalty, it's alright. It's good to keep it lower. Reliability is a big one, though. That's one that you need to look at for miscellaneous stats because that's like... As it says, it's like the lower the value, the more likely it's going to break, essentially. So, you kind of want the reliability at usually around 80, but 100 means that it's not going to just have accidents. Is that idea? So, for the combat set, you have air defense, air attack, agility, and air superiority. So, and ground attack and strat bombing. So basically, your air defense is talking about the likelihood of your planes being shot out of the sky. So with a higher air defense, it allows your plane to last longer in the sky, essentially. Air attack is the amount of damage that you do against other planes. The higher the attack, the more likely you are to knock down the enemy planes. So agility is the so according to the description here, it's the agility affects how easy it is to hit another plane and how easily it can avoid being hit. So it's basically like the higher the agility, the better, because if your agility is higher, you are more likely to shoot the enemy and less likely to get shot at the same time. So it's like a double whammy there. Air superiority is just how much the one plane affects the superiority in the air for while trying to get air superiority. Ground attack is the amount of damage that your CAS or tactical bombers do against the enemy division. So there goes the second naval or London Naval Treaty. Long for no reason. It's like it'll do damage to, I believe, the strength of the enemy divisions, which is like the amount of equipment that they have, or because it'll like cut down the manpower in them, or it might break equipment, or along those lines. And by doing so, it reduces both the strategic use of the enemy division, because the lower the strength, the more debuffs the division has in attacking or defending. And at the same time, the equipment that it is suddenly losing because of that has to either be replaced, or if it's a smaller nation, if you have an overwhelming air force of CAS and things, if it's a smaller nation, that means that they are going to sit there and struggle because they will not have the ability to outproduce the amount of stuff that they are losing. Because of that, they are going to be sitting there and slowly dying because their strength will be permanently lowered rather than temporarily. Um, Alright, so for this research, people usually go dispersed, but I like to go concentrated for the early bonuses. I don't know, just my preference. Anyway, so tactical bombers. I don't. The tactical bomber is one that I don't fully understand, but then again, I've also heard that because of the Bible Let Alone rework, it's been said that they're kind of obsolete now. Like they aren't as good as they used to be. There's less points. The air defense is usually higher, and its range is a lot larger than like a close air or a fighter. So, like for example, if I open this, the range on this is 500. So that's talking about like the radius of from the airport to this. So the radius of this is 500 kilometers. So these 12 uh, close, or well, I guess that's the tactical bomber is the 1200. I had the wrong circle open. Apologies. So these can actually reach all the way up to northeastern Iberia if they were to be used. However, close air support, which has a range of 500, can only get up to there. And the more of an air region that you have covered, the more effective your planes are in air superiority, I believe. Supply use is exactly what it says is supply use. Your max speed is like basically literally as you would assume. It's just how fast it can move between stuff. Because agility is the one that you want to look at for actually in the air. Speed would be like moving between airports. That is the best I can probably do on air stuff for now, because this is not a great nation to explain it in, and I'm also not the biggest expert, but I know a bit. Now, Navy. If you play Hearts of Iron 4, you don't know how the Navy works. That is the running joke in pretty much most things for Hearts of Iron 4. It's actually really funny to see just how many people go along with that. But I've heard so many different ways as to how the Navy works. So like it can. One thing that I've heard is that naval superiority, which is needed to, you need at least 75% to do a naval invasion. So you need to have that much naval supremacy, but how do you get that? By putting your boats in the water, essentially, or at least saying that your boats are going to go there. That's what strike force is. Strike force is them sitting in a port and going, well, we'll go there, but we're not there. So it still gives you the points. Um, so the way that naval supremacy is worked out, I've heard it in. I've heard so many different things, and I don't know if it's been reworked or if that's why there's so many different things. But I've heard that the amount of manpower that is being used within your navy has to do, or is a chunk of the naval supremacy. So, for example, if I was to go to my ships here, let's look at the early destroyer that I have here. So, if I open up the little editor here, we can see that every one destroyer uses 250 manpower. So if I was to have 10 destroyers, that would be 2,500 manpower sitting in, if I was to put them in the Iberian coast, sitting in here. So that would trump, supposedly, like if, say, let's look at the submarine that has 200 manpower. In terms of naval supremacy, you would probably get something along the lines of like 55%, maybe, assuming the submarines don't blow up your destroyers, but you're 10 destroyers versus say 10 submarines. So the difference there is 500 manpower, right? So with that, I believe you would get um, the higher supremacy because of that, but I'm not for sure. The other thing I've heard is how you're supposed to do like a proper naval setup, and like you have to have like a carrier with all these things, and they do like the air recon because they have to go out and do um, basically what the patrol is, and the reason why you would want the carrier is because that way the planes can go up and it increases your spotting speed and all this other stuff. It's really not that complicated to really just kind of ignore all of that, because like there's ways around things. So for example, if I just realized I was paused this whole time. Uh, so one of the things that you can do, so like for example, if you're going to war with the UK, right? You have the English Channel, western approaches, and the North Sea surrounding the UK. Now, what the British AI typically does is it will put the majority of its fleets focused on the English Channel. So if you're playing somebody like Germany, this is a really helpful thing to understand, is that if you, what I usually do at least, so as Germany, you're at war with the Allies, you're doing all this stuff, you have Europe, and you're sitting here and you're trying to figure out how to get to England. And you don't want to take the time to just sit there and wait for the English channel to be clear, or try and parachute over if you get naval supremacy against the UK and all this other stuff. What you can do is you can do a naval invasion from Wilhelmshaven and go to either Hull or Newcastle. Because what that does is it goes straight from here. It goes through the eastern North Sea and the North Sea into these two, which the British doesn't put as many fleets in the North Sea as it does the English Channel. So you're more likely to be able to just go straight from here to there, basically instantly and almost uncontested. You want naval suppression or naval invasion support rather than like strike force or whatever, but that's just in case. But most times you can catch them off guard by doing so, because the British AI is sucky. Another thing that you can do is if you can go to war with France before they join the UK, is that you can actually naval invade from Wilhelmshaven into Dieppe. Dieppe? I don't know how you pronounce that correctly. Exactly, El British. But you can naval invade from Wilhelmshaven again, so same place. Invade from Wilhelmshaven and come through here and invade into Dieppe, right? That is 3 tiles from Paris. So it's literally you land, then you walk 2 tiles, and then you're right next to Paris. And at the beginning of the game, because of the French having disjointed government here, which lowers their surrender limit by 50%, right? What that does, and it also lowers their stability, which affects the, does it? No, it's war support that does the, surrender limit, my bad. So their war support is at 12%, which is actually the same as mine right now. Oh, there goes the Spanish Civil War. I'm going to pause the game while I continue to talk. Their surrender limit, assuming that it's not different, according to just... Yeah, I know it's broken. But with their war support being at 12%, ignoring the 50% surrender limit debuff that they have from disjointed government, they would have an added on negative 22.6% surrender limit, which those combined is why it's so easy to capitulate France once you actually break through. So instead of doing like going to the Netherlands and Belgium, if you do an early war with France and just sit on the Maginot and naval invade it to Dieppe, all you have to do is just have enough troops to go onto Le Havre row in, get to or hold Paris and hold this river line. Go along this river line, get Reims and Sedan, and then get Lille, Dunkirk, Calais, and Maine, and they capitulate. And that it's as simple as that. So I think I've done this before with 12 truck divisions. It was pretty. It was way simpler than I thought it was gonna be, essentially. Alright, so let's go back to the whole reason why I started the stream of the Civil, or not the Civil War, Portugal. If you have any other questions throughout, I will do my best. Feel free to ask anything at all. Alright, so it's time to become a spectator in the Spanish Civil War. I can't send volunteers because you have to have 30 divisions in order to send volunteers. Actually, you know what I could try is that these things are they require 200 infantry guns. I make how many? 6 a day. My Divisião de Infantaria are decent, I guess. Not really. But they would be probably equal, actually, to one of the Spanish divisions with the debuffs, sadly. Well, actually, I wouldn't get the debuffs because I would be a volunteer. I forgot about that part. So, knowing that, I could attempt to cheese it by making a bunch of these just to be a placeholder division that's not actually going to ever be used seriously, and just hope it works. I'm gonna do that as I just got the... Ooh, okay, let me read some of these. I think my plan was to actually go over here and could do either this, or I could support the Spanish nationalists, which at the beginning of the Civil War is probably the better option, so I'm going to start with that anyway, instead of trying to logic myself out of doing the things I probably should do. Okay. Let's put them on exercise and try and see if... How much army experience? Okay, that's... 0.03 is okay. I'm going to have them farm military experience, even though that is going to hurt the equipment a bit, because it does bring in attrition. But it looks like the gun situation is still fixing itself. That is good. Let's put a towed artillery into the line here. Let's put that above that. Okay. Let's see. Alright, they're getting stuff from Germany and Italy. They're getting stuff from the Soviets. Okay, so that's just how it normally is. Ah, man, I wish I could send units and just go get military experience that way. But, since it is a historical game, the nationalists should have the better chance of winning. And hopefully my bonuses that they usually don't get will help. I hope. Because that gives them an extra 10,000 manpower, which may not seem like a lot, but in the Spanish Civil War, in the future, especially after the Carlists pop out, that's actually quite a lot. Ooh, add volunteers in the war. Oh, okay, that's great, actually. Okay, so this would allow me to actually send volunteers anyway. And if I had 2,000 guns, it would allow me to, or it would take away 2,000 of my guns. I don't want them to. But that's what the thing would do if I had any guns. But I don't have any. I don't know why. Why would they assume I would have guns? Am I supposed to have guns? Is that a thing I'm supposed to have? Was I supposed to wait for this? What do these do? Army leader cost, land doctrine, factory output plus 10%. That's good. Rebuild the lines. Lisbon land fort, coastal fort. Yeah, I would do that one anyway. If I was to go down that, it's gonna be a while before I do. So if I do that, I get 2 there and then 3 there. So that's a total of 5 filling factories on this side. If I do this, I get 2. Ooh, okay. Construction speed plus 10%. That might not be terrible as well. I would love to be able to do both. Man, that's annoying. It will be fine because what I can do is once I start getting puppet stuff over in either depending on who I go to war with. If I ever go to war with the Allies, I will aim to get the British Raj to go first, so that way I get all of the Indian land and manpower. And that way, I can then just simply mooch off of them, essentially. I can just sit there and take all of their manpower, because that way I don't have to do anything at all myself. But then I would also get all of their factories, and I can build in their territory, because that would probably be a safer place as well. There's radio. Radio is a really big research towards the beginning of the game for military endeavors. Here, I will actually go here and show why. So if we look at the global stats, the reinforcement rate is the reason why. So the higher your reinforcement rate, the faster, or the higher the chance per hour that your units in reserve are able to actively join the fight. If somebody was to remind me in the future, I will actively show you what this is talking about once I'm at war with somebody. I can't do that right now. For coordination, that's the amount of damage dealt to the primary target in combat. So what that means is that I think it was during the combat rework of No Step Back that they changed how damage spread was done during battles. I will also be able to better explain that later once at war, so I can actually show you like a little battle menu. But essentially what that means is that if you're in a battle of you have 2 divisions against 4, right? So like within these things, the little battle bubble things. If you had like 2 divisions against 4, your 2 divisions would be focusing most of the damage on the first division or their main target, essentially. It doesn't have to be the first division. I forget how they choose. But it'll focus on one division, and then it does a certain amount of the damage. I believe that is... How have I lost things? Alright. I believe that's exactly what coordination is doing, because what that does is the higher your coordination percentage, the more of the damage that you were doing is stuck on that one division rather than spread out amongst the others. So by doing so, you're just putting more damage on one unit at a time, but you're also having whatever's left over out of the percentage against the other ones split evenly. Which, if I remember correctly, actually makes the battles last shorter amounts of time, because if you have really high attacking units or divisions within the battle, if they're focusing most of their damage and you have high coordination, if they're focusing most of their damage on one unit rather than all of the enemy units, then the enemy cannot just stack their units on the border, like right in front of that unit, because yours would just pulverize the first unit, then it would continue down and continuously pulverize each of the things. Alright, so that's support the nationalists. Let's go back over here. Do I want to do... Where was the... Oh no, this was the Volunteers in War, that's right. So this one's the one that gives me a population factor. That's not bad. However, I want to do army reorganization because I already have negative percentage in that anyway. Okay, so I also have 100 political power. What can I do with that? I can get an infantry. This is probably one of the better ones. I usually focus infantry just because I'm lazy. If I do tanks, they're usually like way too overpowered for even my own opinions. I don't particularly need my usual overpowered tanks, but I'm lazy and I don't like to make them. So I usually just stick for infantry. Never pick an artillery unit or an artillery like advisor or military high command. That's what it is. Because what that means for a division to count as an artillery division means that it has to have a majority of artillery. That is one of the worst decisions you can do because artillery has a terrible, I think, it's defense. That may say it has a high attack, but it's going to have an extremely low org and an extremely low defense. So what that means is that as the enemy attacks you, you may be doing some damage to them, but your org is going to run out so fast and you're going to do barely any damage, and you're using mostly expensive equipment, so you're going to start running out of that because guns are fairly inexpensive. That's why that's why I do infantry. Yeah, no, do not do the artillery advisor. So what I usually do is I usually start off with the infantry because it gives you the 10% attack bonus and 15% defense for infantry divisions, which means that you just have a majority infantry, which is good. That includes like motorized and mechanized infantry as well. Um, so out of these four, I would never do artillery. So I have three options. So I do the other ones, I guess. So fleet logistics, I can understand if you're focused. If you're a smaller nation that needs to be able to reach like a little bit further, just for like a naval invasion type thing. I don't usually do naval stuff in general, just because I usually just I'm most of the time fighting against AI. Naval combat is very much a PvP centered thing. Um, but army logistics is really good. So like whenever you're training your divisions, you have an attrition of, from what I remember, I thought it was 8%, but apparently it is 5% here. So if I was to get the army logistics, it's supposed to reduce division attrition by 8%. What that means is that even though these have a 5% attrition, it's because of exercise, so that will not be lowered. However, if they were sitting in a low supply zone, so like if this wasn't here, right, then all of these guys wouldn't be able to get their equipment at a very fast rate, if at all. So by doing so, it actually lowers the disadvantages because your attrition means how much of your equipment just suddenly goes missing for no reason at all. So if you're having issues with your production not keeping up, army logistics is probably a really good idea if you're having issues with like attrition, like if you're sitting in the mountains or something and your production is not keeping up. Army logistics is probably the better way to go. For the current political power that I have, I think I'm going to go for the infantry. Actually, wait. If I save up my political power, can I get... I would have to complete national syndicalism, which is this one. Oh. Okay. So I wouldn't be able to do these. Which is acceptable because that's not what I was going to do anyway. I was going to do this. Okay, that's good. Alright, well, I'll have enough political power probably to get him whenever I'm there. Because does this give me anything? No, that drops my stability. Okay, well, what I will do is... I'll just get the infantry guy instead. because I should be more likely to. I can send volunteers to the Spanish Civil War. I can send them to 4. So let's look at our divisions here. Let's grab these divisions, which are the okay ones. Let's get rid of that. Let's do this. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and do that. Grab this guy and do that. Now these ones are more like, not more likely, they are given priority for new equipment. So whenever, so right now we are missing 700 guns. So the 6.6 guns that we were making a day are going to go straight into those divisions first before they go into, say, these other ones that I have put as the lowest priority, or even the horse divisions, which are the middle priority. That is what that means. One of the things that I wish I could do, but I'm scared to do so because I need division count in order to actually send volunteers, is I would love to consolidate one of these small ones into these 4. Because that way the equipment would be spread out a little bit better and these guys would actually have guns. But I'm just gonna have to suffer and deal with it. Hang on. How much support equipment? They need 30 support equipment and only 12 artillery. We're down 57 artillery. Man, that's annoying. Here, let me grab you separate so you're not training. Now, all the guys that are using only guns are the ones training, so that way we're not sitting here using up our more important and expensive equipment of like artillery and support equipment in something such as training. Because now it basically halved my income from my army exercises, but it'll probably be worth it in the long run. So let's send the 4 divisions over. We can go farm army experience that way as well, and it gives us something to do. And I can show off the coordination and reinforcement rate that I mentioned earlier. As long as that is something that is desired to know, everything that I am doing is completely up to you guys as the viewers. You are the ones in charge. If you want me to do anything differently, just let me know. I did not think I was going to be able to talk this much. Damn. I don't know what I'm going to say for the next stream, though. Yeah, whatever. Navy mutiny. We will attempt to stop the rebels. Rebel ships have a chance to succeed and be transferred to Spain. Congress support will affect the number of rebel ships. Oh, you. I hate you communists. I hate communists. Invade Bosnia. I swear this could be the achievement. Probably not the best idea to do right now, but give me some time. I might be able to during what will most likely be the part 2 of this stream. I will have to stream another time. I may or may not stream tomorrow, maybe the day after, depending. Actually, what day of the week is it? It is Tuesday. I completely forgot what day of the week it was. I think I can stream for like another hour and a half or something. I think so. I guess this will be like a 2.5 hour stream. Alright, so stop this folly, blah blah blah. They're gonna take my ships. Screw you. I hate that. Whatever. Mutiny report. Oh, bitch. Okay. Oh, apologies for the language. I forgot that maybe I shouldn't do that. Digital footwork? No, not footwork. Wait, what is it? Digital footstep? No. Wait. What is it? Digital something. It's not footstep, is it? I don't remember. Whatever. You know what I mean. Oh, there we go. That's our 4 divisions, and we can actually see what is going on in Spain. Alright, so now let's actually put a general on these guys as well as a field marshal. Apparently I did in the other order, even though this is not what I thought I clicked on. Alright, let's see here. Let's focus on... Let's see if we can go close this pocket over here. Because these guys... Let's actually do it that way, so we're not taking... what's it called? Attrition damage, because I can see that these guys all are, because they're standing on mountains. So fun. Footprint. It was footprint? Thank you. Digital footprint. That doesn't... That's not fun. What was that about? Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna go murder people now. Alright, so we're only 500 guns in debt, and that will be fixed in 66 days, which is not bad at all. Let's go to a higher speed, because the Spanish Civil War is boring and slow, and it takes forever for people to walk places, and they've already finished the thing I was going to go help with. Alright, that's fine. Let's go fix Bilbao, I suppose. Where do I want to put units? I guess I can just help with the... Okay, they've already done that. Do they even need me on this northern bit? Damn. Okay, I guess I will focus on... You know what? I wonder if I could possibly push either up or down from either down from there or up from here. Ooh, if I could get to that, so that little, like, 3D thing there is the, supply hub in that region. So if I take that supply hub, these guys here will have no, supply. So they'll sit there and just kind of starve, essentially, is what that means. It's like, think of like a World War I scenario where the people are just sitting in a trench, kind of like crying and just kind of starving alone, right? Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want people to starve so that way we win in the future. Where are my guys? Oh, okay, they strategically deployed down here. Alright, so we have to wait for the organization to go up, otherwise there would be no point. And while they do that... Oh, there goes that. That gives us so much, that actually... So, that gave us back 10% organization in those guys, and 5% of the attack is back. However, we did lose a little bit of stability. Oh yeah, I know, right? That was a response to, God, I love making people starve. That was said by Trask. I want that put on his, digital footstep. Let's see here. I want to do, I guess, Portuguese Legion? Portuguese Legion next. So, let's see here. Do I want to do anti-democratic raids? That would up my communism. Ooh, okay, so these guys' org is up. Their plan preparation bonus is almost done. Plan preparation, for those who do not know, is talking like, it gives a bonus to something? Hang on. Basically, it's just a preparation bonus. They begin, at the beginning of the fight they have more plans. As the fighting continues, they lose the planning bonus. Anyway, we are going to try and break this one division here. The thing about the Spanish Civil War is that the Spanish themselves get an extreme debuff on their attack, but I believe they may get a bonus on their defense. I think it is. They get like minus 90% attack or something, unless they do a planned attack, which costs, off the top of my head, I want to say either 25 or 15, 25, or 50 political power. It's most likely 15, I think, and then it's it takes 14 days before it takes effect, and then it's in effect for 30 days, I believe. If any of this confuses you, that is perfectly understandable. It's a lot of information in the beginning. The reason why I support weapons is it increases my defense and breakthrough. Breakthrough is a big thing. Actually, as we are here, I will talk about this real quick. So, in these battles, you can have up to, I think it's 4 or 5 divisions. I'm pretty sure it's 4. You have up to 4 divisions at a time at the front. Then you have your reserve divisions if there's more sitting in the tile that you're attacking from. So what that means is that whenever one of these guys gets kicked out of the main group here, so they run out of organization or they have to retreat for some reason, then only 3 of them are here, and then there's a % chance that one of your reserve divisions actually moves up. That is the reinforcement rate percentage. That is what that is for. Coordination, which in this case, so take the enemy division versus mine. Their division versus mine, this division is doing most of its attack, if it had any, against my top division, I guess. That would make the most sense, is that it goes against mostly the top division, but depending on the percentage of coordination, anything that is not within that percentage is being spread evenly amongst these 3. So these are still taking some damage, but barely in comparison to the top division. I hope that makes sense. And actually, as I'm sitting here reading this, it looks like I may be taking the same debuffs that they are on my attack of minus 90%. It does? Okay, I'm glad that it makes sense, assuming that's what you're talking about. Yeah, it looks like I'm also taking the negative 90% attack, which sucks. But, in comparison to their divisions, mine are somehow better. I'll put it that way. Because theirs are... That is probably... Oh, okay, so it's 1 to 5. Knowing how Spain works, that is a division that has basically like this, but with an extra infantry right here. That's it. So, really bad. As I'm taking down their organization, their strength is also going down, meaning I'm destroying their guns because of the, just because I'm overwhelming them, essentially. But they are entrenched, they get a 10% defense bonus as well. Which, entrenchment is extremely useful for defense. But, because I have 4 divisions that are all able to do at least some damage to this guy, and they're all focused on just him because it's not spread out amongst others, we are most likely going to be able to push through here. Now, what the plan is that as soon as these guys go through this guy, I'm going to have 3 of them instantly start heading straight for the supply hub. Now I'm going to take 2 of them and have another one go straight for, let's say, what's another place that I would want to move from here? Do I want to move there? Or do I want to try and get a port? No, port's too far away. Let's just spread out the battlefield a little bit. So let's grab that and then have the other guy, once he gets here, once he gets to here, I'm going to have him then split off and go here. So we actually take this tile and then split this into a 3, because hopefully the Spanish divisions will follow in with me into this little hole, and then we'll be able to, they'll continue to hold this, and then I'll be able to help hold this if needed, and possibly even spread out as they put units in. Then again, I also don't know how many divisions they actually have. Oh no, I don't really want to sit here and count. Actually, you know what I could do? Nope, it is not going to tell me the exact number by me doing that. Damn. Alright, whatever. Oh, Portuguese League, that gives me a lot more manpower. Let's see here. Observation mission, is that gonna be... What is this? Portuguese... Ooh! Okay, hold on, let me pause this. Okay, so I have the ability to go down this side here, which would allow me to send assistance straight to national Spain. So what that would mean, I think... Why does it say Spain showing that flag? That is the enemy. What? Oh, okay, never mind. That's giving them event saying that I sympathize. Yeah, okay, so this would allow me to hit a decision in this tab to basically join in with the nationalists against the Republicans. So I would just straight up join the war and have my entire military be able to possibly help fight. What I can do with that is I can then go straight down and do nationalist intervention, which would have to be that the Civil War is ended, and I would basically just go to war with the nationalist Spain right after the Civil War is done. Or I can do Iberian Summit, which means, let's read, the Spanish Civil War has to be ended. What does this do? The Iberian nations need to work together if we want to prevail. Actually, wait. What does this need? Okay, no, it needs one of the following. Okay, cool. I can do a proposal to join the Axis or a proposal to join the Allies. Interesting. Why does this make us one country? Maybe. I'm probably gonna do nationalist intervention, I guess. Because after the Spanish Civil War is done, they are extremely weakened anyway, and don't even have cores on most of their own land. So that might not be a terrible idea. The other thing that I really should be doing, actually, is creating an agency. That is really helpful. And their entire focus tree came from... Yeah, okay. Let's do... Do I want to do this now? Because that will... Conquer Iberia? Yeah. Obviously. I mean, that's the goal, along with China. Actually, wait, how much? Okay, so we have core population, a total of 6.9 million. Then non-core is 7.8 million. I could increase my non-core manpower a little bit. I don't know if I should do that or if I... Let's not do that. If I can do this, this is gonna hurt me in my stability by quite a bit. But it'll increase my war support, which should help with other stuff. And it will give me the access to the guide that will give me a weekly stability. Iberia and China are then same thing. Yeah, no, I guess you're right. That makes sense. If Iberia is one, then it's obviously China. If I'm assuming I didn't just mistake what you were thinking. Imperial Spanish. Why are they imperial? What? Yeah, I'll take it. Whatever. Alright. Well. Oh man, they moved an extra dude in there. Oh shoot! It's the Soviets. Oh, which one are you? You guys just gonna sit there? Yeah. Okay. Let's have you. Ooh, wait. That's across a river. Let's actually move this guy here and have him attack the Mountaineers once they're done attacking. Because if we can get the Soviets to use more equipment here, that hurts them very, very, very slightly in the long run. But it looks like it's actually working and their organization is dropping way faster now that my division is in there. because my division is way better than the Spanish ones on both sides, even though they also suck in general.
Estamos a empurrá-los.
Why is this Portrait? Okay, I don't know why his portrait's not there. What can I do with him? Let's give him an offensive doctrine and organization first.
Avancem.
Why would you move back here and then attack him? What are you doing? I guess it's fine. Oh, there goes the anarchists. Okay, so that severely weakens regular Spain as well. That brings them to 12 to 51. They have 9 to 22. We have 16 to 84. Carlists are going to show up somewhere in these 3 tiles, I think. If I remember correctly. I know they're going to have Burgos. Burgos is their capital. Because the capital of the Nationalists is going to usually move to La Coruna. Or... yeah, no, I guess it's more likely to be there. Oh wait, no, that was the agency that finished. Let's upgrade the agency a little bit. Let's get... what do we want? I guess suicide pills. Yeah, let's get suicide pills. Hell yeah. Wait, am I allowed to say that word on here? The bad things. Tummy ache pills. We'll go with that.
Continuem a avançar.
Alright, these guys are... Ah! They're last standing. That's annoying.